Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Just Unsecure Cybersecurity. Like I mentioned earlier, if you followed our initial intro for 2025, we said we'll be bringing you guests all the time to talk about cybersecurity. And in this episode, we've got a great guest. But before I go to our guest, I'd like to introduce my co-host, OO.
How everyone?
So, so today we're going to talk about some interesting things some fans have been asking us about, like comparing some cybersecurity certification, which is, and the ones we're going to look at is, should I say, for beginners, looking at CompTIA and CEH. But what better than just talking about it, but better to bring somebody who is a coach, who is actually in the field teaching in cybersecurity. His name is Ayomide Oluwaga, aka Coach
Coach.
AY.
Why?
you know, is there anything else about him? Yeah, he's the ICITP ambassador in Nigeria. And welcome, Coach AY. How you doing?
It's quite great to hear from you, Mr. Babs, and I'm happy to be here. It's great to meet everyone.
Fantastic. Happy to see
Thank
you,
you.
Coach Ayo. So I think we'll dive into it without any delay at all. Babs, please take it up.
Okay, like first of all, thank you for coming to the program and sharing some of your insights into what today is titled, comparing some certifications, which is CompTIA and CH. But before we dive into it, our for our guest, would you like to give us a breakdown about yourself, what you do in the cybersecurity space, and should I say what inspired you to go through the path that you are currently doing in the field of cybersecurity?
Thank you very much for that question. That's actually very, very important in all of these discussions. You see, majorly I've been in cybersecurity for about 9 years now, and
Hmm.
majorly I've been freelancing. At the beginning of my career, I was freelancing, but then I realized quite a lot of people do not exactly understand cybersecurity totally. Maybe they started up on the wrong foot, maybe the wrong training lessons. Perhaps they just took simple lessons and went straight into the field. So what we discovered with that was that we had a lot more people that had, let's say, cybersecurity basics, and they were working on essential company data. So
Hmm.
that created a big deficit where we had smarter hackers than we have smarter security guys.
Hmm.
So that actually was what led me down the path of understanding cybersecurity a lot more, away from just the theoretical things and straight into the technical details. So I became a trainer basically in order to bring up more people because you can't be the whole army. You have to have other people in there to protect these resources that we are looking at in the security world. And I had to start training a lot more people to bring them into the same field that we are all looking at today. So I've taken quite a lot of time training, quite a lot of years. I've been training a lot of people. Means I've had a lot of people out there that are currently working as cybersecurity professionals. So by training, I mean the major part about the training is that they should have that tweak of practical knowledge. You
Hmm.
don't just want people to know about antiviruses. You want them to know about how the viruses work themselves. So it's just in that area that things have looked different. And frankly, in that field, it has been a big boost for me because you don't have so many people who truly understand it that way. Most people come into cybersecurity looking for the money first before
Hmm.
the knowledge. So
Correct.
that is exactly how it has been so far for me. So it made me climb quite fast in my career. As you can see, I'm currently the ICITP ambassador. It's not just because I'm popular. I'm not. I'm not. It's not that. It's because I can do stuff. That's the major thing. So yes, that is a little bit, just a little insight, sir.
Yeah, and going to that, I think I'm a little bit curious, and some people will probably ask about that, like, what does it mean? What does ICITP means, and what an ambassador means? So, if you can just
Mhm.
shed a little light on that, that would be great.
Okay. Yes. So ICITP is the Institute of Chartered IT Professionals,
Hmm.
and they are in South Africa. They are already they work with SAQA. So basically, they are more like a certification body. That is exactly what they do. Being an ambassador in Nigeria just simply means I'm helping them push into Nigeria to get at least the best cybersecurity professionals, get them certified, make sure that they are proper for the certification. So you don't just want to certify anybody,
Hmm.
any Jack, Dick, and Harry that comes in. You want to make sure the people you are certifying are actually able to function properly in organizations. That is where the whole practical knowledge thing comes into play. So
Fantastic.
that is just a little bit.
I think I'll follow up with that question because when we talk about certification, how important is certification based on your experience? How important is certification in building a cybersecurity career?
Thank you. That's you see that one is a very very good pointed field. Like I said, I try to make sure that these bodies are well certified before they move in. Now, this is the thing about certifications. What people do not exactly get about it is that the reason there are certifications are just to show that you have knowledge in certain areas. That is the main purpose for certifications. Certifications don't automatically say, oh, yeah, you have the job because you have this certification. No, no.
Hmm.
It's just a means to show that you have a particular ability. For instance, you go to schools, you come out from schools with a means to show that you have covered through school. The purpose of the certification from school, showing whether you have a 2-1 or you have a first class or you have a second class upper, is to show that you have been so much consistent through school
Hmm.
that you have been able to get this level of certification. Take note, you could go through school and you could get a certification of 2-1. Maybe you are studying a course like computer science. Meanwhile, you are a great marketer elsewhere. But how do you show people that you are a great marketer? You don't have a certification for it. So when it comes to people in cybersecurity, the major purpose of the certifications they receive is to show that, oh, you were able to complete the following objectives in cybersecurity. You have
Hmm.
been tested and have been shown to be able to proceed in this field. That is what certifications do. It's basically a means to market yourself. Let's put it that way.
But doesn't mean that you could
The-
actually do it.
yeah, that is another thing we should look at because if you think about it, most of the certifications processes are quite theoretical. It's something where
Mhm.
people could go online and try to get the theoretical knowledge and then just write the exam. It doesn't mean they have the experience on the job, which also leads to a problem with most certification bodies. Most of their questions are repeated questions, means that
Yeah.
they have the same questions coming up again and again. So if you actually attempt the exam once and fail, you could reattempt it and meet the same level of questions and possibly pass. So it's the problem with that is that now people just look at it like, oh, let me just try again. And that builds up a market for some specific people who have what we call dumps, exam
Yeah.
dumps.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
So it's actually has ended up causing a lot of issues in in the certification process because now we don't exactly have people who are totally 100% effective in the field, but they have the certifications in that field. So that is
Yeah.
Exactly.
the
Yeah.
Yeah,
major.
you're right. Because as you have mentioned initially, right, you can go to the university for years and have your BSc or whatever it is. That doesn't mean that you have the capacity to practice. Most exams are a test of knowledge. They are not a test of your experience. And that is why even in some universities, institutions, you are sent to an internship to really put your hands to work to be able to do it. So nobody will ever tell you that once you pass an exam, you can actually, just like driving, right? If you pass a test for knowledge of road signs, doesn't mean you can handle the steering. Yeah. So
That's
you
true.
Exactly.
just have to practice how to drive the road use before you do it. So people should never abuse cybersecurity training as a proof of practice. In CISSP, for
Exactly.
instance, even before you are given a CISSP, you have to attest that you have those experience for like 5 years. Babs, right? So, and you have
Yep.
someone
Yep.
who can even attest that you have that. So, I think that's a
I,
good one. Certification is good, but being an experienced person is also very good. Go ahead, Bob.
this leads us to the topic of the day, which is because we have people reaching out to us to say, look, there are certifications out there. You mentioned some, the CISSP, and but we see two main, shall I say, beginners certification within the cybersecurity space, and we're looking at who should compare them, and that's why we reached out to you to say, okay, you more or less we assume or we think this is two certificates that should be compared. And we looked at both the CompTIA and the CEH. And from your experience, what in these two certifications, if you give us a breakdown of both and the career impact it would have on anyone doing one or the other, or even doing both. What do you think, from an African perspective or from a cybersecurity perspective, which has more impact?
Okay, yes, very important to note also. When it comes to the CompTIA and the CEH, they have their differences. They have their obvious differences. But when we are looking at the market, we try to look beyond those differences and look at exactly what the market is dictating. Now, if you are in any computer, let's say any cybersecurity position, and you're looking to get a cybersecurity job, so to speak, there are some certifications that stand out above others. Possibly some reasons why the certifications stand out. There are quite many reasons. One, their market acceptability, their prices are also a deal. But if we look into the market, the Nigerian market only, let's look at the Nigerian market first. When you try looking for jobs in the Nigerian market, you would see jobs such as just a security analyst, just a SOC analyst, asking for certain certifications. Some of them will ask for the CompTIA Security Plus, and some of them will go as far as asking for a CISSP. Yes, they do it. I don't know why, but you would see certifications demands in Nigerian security landscapes looking too big. So, but when it comes to the CEH and the Security Plus, we all know the CompTIA. You said just CompTIA, but CompTIA has different levels
Yeah.
of security
Exactly.
certifications. Yeah.
Just this one for specific that compares to CH. I think that's what Babs is talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. The specific one that compares to CEH would be the CompTIA pen test. That is their pen tester certification. So that is how they do it. They just compare the pen test to the CEH. The CEH is the Certified Ethical Hacker Certification, and it's supposed to be for people who are going into ethical hacking.
Hmm.
The CompTIA pen test is for pen testing, and that is supposed to be for people who are going into penetration testing directly. Take note, both exams would have something to do with practical aspects of hacking, at least. So pen test, for instance, would have you would see some Kali commands in the exams. You would have to deal with some of those things. While ethical hacking has something different. They have a little tweak. You see, ethical hacking tries to cover everything from cybersecurity basics, that is from ethical hacking fundamentals,
Hmm.
down to the major things. While pen test goes straight to knock on the door.
Oh,
That's the
okay.
major deal between them, right? So, but most people will rather prefer, instead of comparing the CEH to pen test, they would rather prefer, we're looking at beginners market now, to compare it to the Security Plus. Because if you're a beginner, you would not want to go for the CEH. For one thing, CEH is intimidating. When you hear CEH first, you'll be like, Exactly. That's how it usually feels. So, and then the second thing that intimidates people about the CEH is the price. The price for CEH is intimidating currently. So, most people go straight to the Security Plus rather than CEH. And if we're looking at market acceptability, most
Mm-hmm.
jobs will have the CompTIA Security Plus coming up on them
Hmm.
first. They have S plus as a base requirement because S plus is supposed to be for people who are new into cybersecurity. It's more like it's covering a cybersecurity phase where you are showing, like we discussed about how certifications show that you have done something. So S plus is showing that, oh, this guy has covered cybersecurity at least from the beginning. But the S plus is just the fundamental certification. After the S plus, we have the CYSA, which is the cybersecurity analyst certification, which is supposed to be for SOC analysts. And then
Oh,
we have
that
the
is on the CompTIA
then
side.
yes, that is on the CompTIA side.
Okay.
While the CEH looks straight at the ethical hacker and says, okay, are you good for ethical hacking? So if you have the CEH, you have how do I put this now? You have more like a bigger access to jobs because it's kind of a higher level than the S plus. So you have the CEH, you should be able to work as an ethical hacker. You should also be able to work as a security analyst. That means if you've covered the scheme they have in there, they have malware analysis, OSINTs, and a bunch of reconnaissance and all those things. So it's because the version shows that you've covered all of those topics. Meanwhile, if you look at the Security Plus makes you focus more on the cybersecurity essentials. So cybersecurity basics, basically, which means you are looking at the CIA triad. You are looking at threats and mitigations, assets. You are able to describe the assets. It's mostly theoretical, except for those first 2 to 4 questions that they bring out that are supposed to be hands-on questions before the bunch of theoretical questions. So that is the major thing. I just gave you more
No,
like a view from me based on my
that's a
experience.
top. That's very well, very very well. I think you covered it nicely. You took the nail and you slammed it in. I think I like the breakdown. I want to throw a little bit of panel work. I want to ask for OSCP. Is that the grandmaster of them all, or you say, look, if you're a beginner, just start with this CH as you described, or should somebody just focus on the OSCP and say, look, I want to be the grandmaster, regardless of if I'm starting out. That is what I want to do.
That is very, very direct. You really threw the spanner there, right? So let me let me go straight into it. You see, the OFCP, right? That's the offensive security. There's one thing
Yeah.
everyone should understand about certifications. No certification is exactly too hard for you. That's the first part of it. Nothing is too hard, except you don't know anything about it. Yeah, then it might be hard. But all certifications have been built in a way that they start from basics level to a certain level of professionalism. So even if you are writing the OSCP, let's say you are an absolute beginner, you've not done anything in your life, you attempt the OSCP, you don't just go ahead and attempt the exam. That's why there is a full, what do you put, the document. You
Yeah.
have a document there that you can read. I assure you, the document almost always starts from a level of fundamental down to the professional level. So it's not that it's extremely hard. So if you are a beginner and you say, oh, I want to go straight into offensive security, I want to go straight and cover this particular topic, yes, you will find it a little bit more difficult, but you would get it. So if you're an absolute beginner and you want to go for a certification, let's say you've not done anything cybersecurity before, it is
Mhm.
recommended that you first of all attempt the smaller certifications
Mm.
because passing certifications is not just about you knowing what is in the book. There is a little thing that people overlook, and that is the exam tension. When that happens, you could lose totally your cool on that day. You might be really
Mhm.
good with it, but that day might just be a terrible day, so to speak. So if you've attempted the certifications which are cheaper and considerably, according to people, easier to pass, and you've passed them, by the time you're attempting certifications such as the OSCP, or you're attempting the Blue Team Level 3 or any other certification, you have a certain level of confidence. One, because some of the topics that you are saying in the OSCP, you've attempted some of those topics previously in other certifications. So that is just my outlook of it.
Fantastic. Thank you for that. That completely now take me to the next question. To just follow up on that. Is about, you said, oh, yeah, if you attempted this level, then when you come to this next level, you can at least that you've come across before. And that is about experience. How does experience or practical experience help you in certifications and training?
Ooh, yes, you see, practical experience is everything. You mentioned a little example about you learning all the science of the road science, all the science, but you cannot drive the car. Doesn't mean you can drive the car. About the experience issue, right? We have a situation where we have to look at it from an angle. We're looking at the angle of you being a driver, for instance. The example you gave about the driver, where we have the signs, someone could read all the signs on the road, knows it in theoretical form, knows that if you want to move this way, you have to turn it this way, you have to do this way, knows the exact things and all that. But you cannot compare such a person with someone who has been driving for the past 4, 5 years, because he
Right.
has had a lot of experience. We'll see
Yeah.
that difference in the public bus drivers and those who have private cars.
Hmm.
There's a certain level of it. These public bus drivers, some of them can't even read and write, so they do not even know the stuff. But experience has taught them the signs.
Hmm.
So if you go ahead and give them a verbal question of, hey, when you see the sign, what happens? When, because of the verbal confirmation, they can answer the question. They can easily confirm that, oh, no, no, no. Yes, this sign means you should not bend, though. And most times, the reason why they will say don't bend is because possibly they've fallen into a trap before that was put in there. So, it's experience that builds up to that particular level of thought. When it comes back to the part of cybersecurity also, and you are trying to say something about let me see, cybersecurity practical experience. We have some people who do not have certifications, but they have to be your boss. That is the
Mhm.
truth. They do not have the theoretical certifications and all those things, but they understand the company's processes to such a level where they are able to make everything work. So, if just to answer the question directly now, just to hit it on the head, practical experience will help you big time, which is why it is way important for you, even as a cybersecurity analyst, whether you've trained already or you haven't trained before, you even have some certifications. It's very important for you to go ahead and intern with a company. You could do it
Hmm.
for free, just for the experience purpose.
Exactly.
Just get in there and see what is done. I promise you, all what you read on books for the theoretical aspect, you would see a nice and different application of it when you get to the organization. I'm someone who have trained a lot of people, and I've always seen that thing, it's just like adding a little bit of salt to everything. It just makes you stand out. So I would definitely recommend practical experience anyway.
Thank you
I
very
like what you said, but and I'm also going to that's a follow up question. Remember, we discussed that certification after people can get certified, you can really get certified, but it's all about practical knowledge. So, from your own experience, someone has gotten certified, has all the certification, but what do they need to do, or how do they need to go about to ensure they keep up to date with the new techniques out there in the hacking world, in basically making sure they are still having that knowledge of ethical hacking? And another follow up question, sorry, I have to tie two questions, is in Nigeria's space, how do they get that experience from your own experience in training people? How do you get people that you've trained or people that are training to say, look, this is how you try and go about intern, or get into organizations to learn more from your experience? Then anything you can help to guide our viewers out there.
Okay, so first of all, when it comes to the aspect of staying up to date as someone in the cybersecurity field, there's something I usually say just to point people who I'm with in the right direction. Is that if you're going to be a cybersecurity guy, you need to be an hacker. I don't know how to put it sweetly, but you need to have a level of hacking. So the major deficit we're having is because most of the cybersecurity professionals do not know hacking so well. So they know the processes to stop hacking. They know how to stop an hacker. They just say, "Oh yeah, just download the latest antivirus. We're good." I actually spoke to someone, and all he just said was, "Guy, once I patch my system, nothing can break into it." I was like, I basically broke into Windows 11 just some hours before I made this call. And I'm telling you, you guys have that issue. You said you patch it. It's the patch. The patch is the issue, right? So, but that thing now is coming up because that person is not up to date. So what I usually do is that there are some Telegram channels, and there's a class on dark web also. And we try to make sure the students are familiar with dark web to a large extent, so they know the ins and outs of dark webs. Whenever any data breach occurs, most of these details that come out, that is the usernames and passwords that get breached, gets sent straight to those dark web pages. And because these students are cybersecurity professionals, they land on those pages and see the information that, oh, so this company has been broken into. Exactly. So now that gives them a very good feel of what's happening. Now we go ahead and say, okay, why don't you go and check what tool they use to break into this particular company, right? So check what is the exact tool that actually brought out that difference in the level of you versus the hacker. So they try to get the tools and see how the tool works, and then try to find ways to stop that tool from affecting whatever organization. So that is the idea. They have to push into it. That way they keep up to date. There are some specific websites that provide that. For instance, if you're familiar with these websites, have I been
Yep.
pwned.com, I
Yes.
think.
Yep.
So you can use that to check at least the data breaches that have occurred. If your email has been in that data breach, you can see which data breach it is that you've been compromised. Take note, they get this data breach directly from Telegram channels. So once they get posted on Telegram channels, they get sent there. You can check if you've been in that data breach. Another one is informationisbeautiful.net. Information is beautiful. The major thing about information is beautiful is that it allows you to see all of the major acts that have happened recently. That is all of the data
Data breaches.
breaches.
Yep.
It just helps to keep them up to date, to say, oh, yes, this is happening, this is fine, this is not this. Another thing is to get them through these bug bounty programs. So during those bug bounty programs, they see the companies that are having issues, and from there they learn how to stay up to date. And to go into your second question now, right? So how do they get that experience in a country like Nigeria? How do they get such experience in a company, in a country so like our country, Nigeria? Well, that becomes the tough part for Nigerian companies. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
exactly. When you are applying, most times, what you discover is that the job roles you're applying for is requiring experience to a certain level. They are requiring you to have a certain level of experience. It becomes a turnaround where you want to apply for internship roles, and you see that you have about internship roles asking you for CompTIA security plus certification. That's a very bad deal. And also, you will notice even the internship roles that do not have the CompTIA security plus certification requirement or whatever have a particular level of amount of people applying, too many people applying, basically. So it leads to people losing hope. Most people in that particular role, what was it? They have too many people in that particular role. So by the time you're starting cybersecurity, you have a bunch of people that are also applying for those
Mm-hmm.
particular roles. So what helps to stand out? Now, this is one thing that I discovered usually works. You have to work through relationships. Another major important thing is try to attend these conferences. For
Mm-hmm.
instance, the conferences we meet at, of course, you're going to meet over there a lot of more cybersecurity inclined people who are better than you are in the field, who have more experience, who know people, who know people, who know people in the field. And that way, when you speak with them and you get their contact, like Mr. Babz here and Mr. Yemi, obviously once you get their contact, by the time you speak with them, they can think of the deficiencies they have in different organizations. They can think of, oh, what next? What next for you to do? What is better for you to do at this point in time? And that way, rather than you just sitting down at home and applying and clicking quick apply on LinkedIn, you have a
Mm-hmm.
better chance at getting what you want. Networking is the way. That is meeting with people, connecting with people.
Yeah.
That is the major way to get what you want, whatever it is in this world. That is the major thing about it, sir.
Again, you've done justice to the question. People, please don't spam me. Don't spam me. You can.
Yeah.
Uh,
I
oh,
think
do you have any questions? Yeah.
no, I think I'm done with my
I have one
fantastic.
question before you go ahead. I have another
Yeah.
question because this Coach AY is someone in Nigeria that does this for a living, and it would be good to get more out of him. So another question: the industries. What particular industry? Because when I talk to some people or people reaching out to me, it's mostly the finance industry. What other industries in Nigeria should people be? Do people require ethical hacking expertise within Nigeria or Africa from your perspective? Let's start with Nigeria because that's where your main focus is on.
Okay. Okay. So basically, when it comes to ethical hacking specifically, we want to say ethical hackers directly. Almost every company, but I'm not just going to say every company. That usually makes people feel like they are back in school where they told you that, oh, don't worry, when you graduate, you have all the jobs. There's every job. No, no, no. So specific companies, apart from the finance company, obviously finance is the one at the top because of money movement. Everybody wants to protect their money and all that. So finance usually comes up first, but other companies are companies like the telecommunications companies. That's when we are looking at MTN, Airtel, Glow, and the rest of them. You also have the hospitals. You see, the health sector
Yeah,
is very demanding with people's information. You see, a lot of people store personal and confidential information in the health sector. Not just even confidential information, information that is not supposed to go out, that they would not like it if it goes out. And this information can be used to bully them. So cybersecurity is needed in that area also. And other sectors within governance, because there's something about national security, very important for a country. A country should have its level of national security. They should be able to at least protect themselves in case of a breach from another country. So we have all those things coming into play. There are so many uh, places, for instance, even Chevron, NNPC, and the rest of those in the oil and gas industry, the entertainment industry. Yeah, all of these industries need cybersecurity professionals back end. So they usually work behind, not in front of the company. You see the newscasters giving off news. They are giving those particular information, those news through a particular medium. The medium is usually through the internet. The medium is usually through the internet, and that is where people have to deal with cybersecurity from, because you don't want to be broadcasting something and then all of a sudden something else appears on the screen. Imagine
Yeah.
what people want to do with that thing. If you had enough power to intercept communications like that, because I know it's
hmm
possible, I know it has
Yeah.
been done before. If people could intercept communications that way, just think about what the normal human mind will want to share to thousands of people at once, just for fun. I can think of a
Yeah.
few things right now,
Yeah.
but I think we get it.
Yeah.
So that
As I
is
think again,
Thank you so much.
done justice to that.
Thank you so much.
Do you want any last final questions for
No.
Coach Ewa?
Yeah, Coach White, just briefly, where can people find you if they need to connect with you?
Okay, great. If you just do a Google search of my name, Ayomide Oluwaga, it should pop out. So that should be it.
Fantastic.
Yes.
On Google or LinkedIn? You just said you should just type it on Google and they will
You
find
know,
you. Okay.
okay, you on LinkedIn, same thing. If you do
Okay.
it, you will see LinkedIn. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Really
Thank you
appreciate
so
you
much.
coming on board.
Absolutely.
I appreciate the
Absolutely.
opportunity, sir.
All right.
Thank you.
Hey, Babs, what do you think?
Oh, man, that was a great session. I think Coach AY did justice to this topic. He gave us the insight. He gave us a breakdown of everything that everyone needs to know. People that reached out to us talking about certification, what they should do, how they should do it, where they should go to. I think he hit the nail on the head. As in,
Absolutely.
we couldn't have started the year with a better guest than Coach AY. I don't know about you, but I think the guys in the cybersecurity space coming up or in advanced or in the professional field will be happy to hear about what we've talked about today.
Absolutely. So, for anyone who needs to also um, get more information, please let us know. You can contact us at all our social platform, or also go to the app.afrihackbox.com. Go ahead and get your hands busy, not dirty. But that we hope.
And before we go and sign out, don't forget to
Subscribe.
subscribe. Watch out for our next guest. It's going to be amazing.